Welcome. This is such an exciting day. Thank you, Father, for the day. Welcome, Elisa and Jaclyn. Business, entrepreneurship, from being a young professional to on my side of the world, being on the backside of this earthly life. You know, it goes on and on. And we will talk a lot about women in business and entrepreneurship since it is the three of us here today. Welcome, audience. You're in for a treat. If you are in business, considering getting into business on your own, founding a new company, taking ownership of a company, stepping out, into the world of entrepreneurship, you're in for a treat. We are going to talk a little bit about some of the most important questions and some of the most common questions that come up for women in business and entrepreneurship. Welcome to Conversations with Carroll. If you are seeing us here on the recording or hearing us, and if you're in your car, be extra careful. Um, I'm going to have these two beautiful ladies introduce themselves and tell a little bit about what they do. Elisa, I'm going to start with you.
Thank you so much, Carol. Such a pleasure to be here today and to talk about business. My name is Elisa Lynch, and I am a bio-hope coach. I have a miracle story. I was in a boating accident in 2011, and I've been so blessed to find holistic health and go on a journey of self-healing through all different types of modalities and encouraged to inspire others to realize that they're not their diagnosis, and there's many ways that you can heal your body, not just through conventional medicine, through alternative measures. And
Oh,
I'm currently partnered with, I work with a company called Guide Healers, and they changed my life because once I was able to tune into my energy, I was able to have tools to take my health to the next level. So I'm really excited about, creating a company and working with a lot of different holistic health, um, different products and different modalities so people can really have tools they need to heal their bodies, their mind, and their souls. So
wow.
I'm very, very blessed to be part of the Make America Healthy Again.
And what a beautiful service. What a beautiful offering. I love this bio hope. We all hear about the biohacking, right? And I love the name. I love bio hope. Thank you so much. And Jaclyn, tell us a little bit about what your business is.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Carol. So I am Jaclyn Patterson. I'm a personal wardrobe stylist with a focus on slow fashion, and I essentially help people elevate their life by defining their personal style and create more wearable wardrobes that they love. I've been doing this for 10 years, and naturally, I feel over the years I've helped hundreds of clients worldwide, from business owners to high-level professionals, working parents, Olympians, all the different hats. I've essentially helped so many different people just feel better in themselves through their personal style. And essentially, when we are wearing something that we love and feels really good, it helps to bring more joy, confidence, fulfillment, and success in all areas of life.
Mm, I so believe in that. And I'm going to, out of your beautiful introduction, I'm going to, the words slow fashion. So not only are you, I'm covered in chills, y'all. This is just such a cool conversation with you two. Slow fat, I'm going to let you, the professional, describe what that means.
Absolutely. So it's essentially embodying a more intentional practice when it comes to our wardrobe. So especially in today's fast-paced world, we see this production cycle that's also become fast-paced. So clothing systems and clothing seasons used to only be for a year. So each season of the year we'd have new garments produced and available to buy. And now we're actually at 52 seasons of year. So every week we're seeing new items drop in stores, online, and in person, which inherently is like this very fast-paced environment that creates a lot of excessive consumption. And we don't really need that many clothes to still feel and look good and have outfits that we love. So essentially what I mean by slow fashion, it's bringing a more intentional, slower pace to our wardrobes. And I love to talk about how the concept of like ask why before you buy really just helps to bring a more clear, aligned closet that feels really good, but it's not necessarily keeping up with all the trends. It's kind of defining your personal style and being intentional about what we're wearing and buying. So, and Elisa, I feel like it kind of relates to aspects of your work a little bit too, of just having this more holistic, like overarching total whole viewpoint of the way we show up in life. And while it's definitely more of a external thing like clothing, like what we see on the outside, it definitely has, I feel like, similarities of just like feeling whole and well.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's interesting we're here together.
I know. It's pretty amazing. I have to say, how you feel has a lot to do with your thoughts, right?
Mm.
And if you're thinking good thoughts and you're feeling good, it's going to help you create and attract different, it's a whole way of being, right? You're really embodying how you feel about yourself and that confidence.
This is so cool. First of all, no coincidence, right? That the two of you are here sharing, and the overlapping and the intentionality of feeling and the overall arching of wellness inside out, and then embracing that. I just think it's incredible. Okay, so let's start with um, how in the world, and please, I want to hear from both of you on this. How did you decide to go out on your own? Because as business owners, you're self-funding women to get started. And that's not always easy. So, how did each of you say, okay, this is it, I'm going to do it? Did it take a strategy? How did you take the leap?
Well, for me personally, it's really been a calling on like receiving the miracles that I received. It's such a gift that I feel inspired that I want to help as many people as I can. And that's really my fuel, is being in service and making a difference in the world and showing possibilities and that miracles are possible, and empowering other women and people to take charge of their health. I don't think there's a better calling than that today. So
Which
inspiration, I would say, and the journey that I was on over the last 13 years of healing myself, and to actually, to do it, because it was a lot, took a lot of faith, it took a lot of prayers, it took a lot of hope, and I really had to connect with, the higher power. And I feel very blessed that I'm able to share the wisdom and my experience. And so yeah, that's my fuel.
so you started, yours was a leap of faith based upon your this compelling story that you knew other people needed to hear in order to begin their healing journey, and
Mhm.
to know that they could heal
Yeah.
despite no hope. I love that it was a leap of faith, and I think that all often definitely is at least a piece of the puzzle. What about you, Jaclyn? How did you take that leap? What led to the leap? Because you worked with others before and then you said, I'm going to go out on my own, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And I relate to what you're saying, Lisa, of just taking this leap and having an element of faith. For me, I was working early in my career, my first kind of job out of fashion school, university, was working at a luxury retailer in as a stylist. And I knew very quickly that this kind of environment wasn't necessarily for me, but I was developing a really great clientele and having really wonderful connections with strangers that would come into the store to get dressed. And I knew in that moment that I loved helping people, like even if it felt very minuscule of like, like a 15-minute session in a store, it still felt really contagious to be able to see someone's demeanor change when they were wearing something that they loved. And so I knew that I wanted to do this beyond like a store environment and kind of be able to go to people's closets and homes and actually where the kind of real work happens. And yeah, and I kind of took that leap because I found the way that I want to work and the ethos and my values around styling. There wasn't necessarily a company or an organization that I felt at the time really resonated with the way I wanted to serve people and my clients. And so I kind of figured, why not just try it myself? And I did it for part-time for many years on the side and worked at other different companies and startups before kind of taking a leap full-time 6 years ago. And so it's been a bit of a journey, but I think what keeps me going is the why behind what I do. So really knowing that the work I do actually has quite a big impact on people's lives. Um, which in some ways, some people might view fashion as, frivolous or kind of excessive in some ways, but something we all do every day is get dressed. And so a bit more intention behind what we wear actually has greater impact than we may even realize. And so the why behind helping and serving people is really what inspires me to show up.
You know,
Beautiful.
it really is beautiful. Both of
Mhm.
you being inspired, the foundation
Mm.
is to help others. And through what you have experienced and learned, the Jaclyn, I can't help but think about The Devil Wears Prada, and Anne Hathaway shows
Yeah.
up and she's like, I'm just throwing on these clothes. And
Mhm.
very quickly she is corrected to wear all the things, what she is making a statement. And I think that's very cool because at that point, I remember thinking, there was intentionality behind her putting it on, like, I don't really care about fashion.
You're
And
so
so
right.
I love, and I so appreciate what you do. And so there are, when we go out on our own, right? How in the world did you look at, and so you had to calculate this investment? What was this? There is a dollar, there's this expense. How do we, was that a huge process? Did you reach out to others? How did you calculate the investment piece before you had ever done this on your own? These were new things. You were going out in business on your own, both of you for the first time. So, how did the dollars fit into this decision?
Absolutely. So for me, I think from a service-based business, I feel like a benefit of a service-based business is sometimes there are less costly upfront costs. And so the main cost is time, essentially. And so because I'm not necessarily putting an upfront order on a product to get it produced and the most expensive aspects at the beginning, I remember like 10 years ago was buying like a year domain and a year host on my website. I was like, oh, this is like more than I realized when it was like 10 years ago. But so if anything, it was more, how can I um, manage the cost of time, like my own time?
Mhm.
And I think the reason at the beginning that I started out doing it part-time is because yes, I wanted to take a leap of faith, but I felt it was less risky if I had support of other income. And so while that might work for some people early in my career, that really felt like a balance of risk for me. And so for anyone listening who's even considering starting their own thing, or diving into entrepreneurship, seeing like kind of asking yourself the questions of what risk are you comfortable with and giving yourself kind of like a deadline or a timeline of what that looks like. And for me, I had like a certain sales goal in mind that once I reached a certain revenue goal, then I felt comfortable to kind of take a bigger leap of faith of just going full time.
Yeah.
So yeah, just I think for me it was because at the end of the day we have to pay our bills and live and
Right.
take care of ourselves, right? And so there's different privileges that we all have, of course, but at the end of the day, making sure that that risk still allows you to take care of yourself, of course.
Absolutely, which brings into business and entrepreneurship and going out. In this day and age, and so many of the people that I work with, they talk about, okay, how do I do a little something to save up? I want to keep the job I have and start this on the side and let it go first and become part-time until I can take the dive. I love that everyone has their own unique set of circumstances, and it's the weighing of the risk. But a huge note that you have shared with everyone is the time. You, because of your passion and knowing, and in order to help people and to grow and share your gift, you are willing to put in all that extra time.
Mm.
And I think all of us that are in business for ourselves realize that. Might be more hours. However, they're our own hours, right? So,
Mhm.
what about you, Elisa? When you decided to do this, and this is a little different because you had and survived and been through so much from an accident. So,
Mhm.
from that, during your healing, you decided. So, when you considered the investment of time, talent, and treasure, how did you figure out how to balance that and take care of that?
Well, what I first started doing was products that were resonating with me and that I was seeing results with. I started telling people about different modalities. So as I was building my revenue stream of products and partnering with the right people. So what I basically did was I went to the people that already had the systems in place and I could tap right in to, positions that I wanted or leads that I could follow. I had, a company that already has the infrastructure done for me. All I have to do is tap in. So there, for me,
Mhm.
it's not a lot of out. I don't have to put a lot of cost out. I felt that it was best to go with the people that were it's already working, that are already doing the platform and has the data CRMs, that has the software running, that has the go high levels. And so I just plugged right into what's working already. And that
Right.
was really powerful for me. So for as far as, spending, I didn't have to put that many costs out to start generating income.
That, but you've given this enormous, enormous piece of information. Find those that have gone before that have done well. Of course, people that you align with.
Mhm.
So visit and then plug in. The key to so much is plugging in so you are able to share your story and about products that were working with the people supporting and sharing the products that were working. So you began to build an income, and it was a step by step process. I think this is priceless information, you two, just priceless. I was speaking with this beautiful young lady this morning, and she is just getting started, you know, and we visited about these things. One of her questions, and I have so many questions, but her question today was, I'm scared. How do I get over the fear?
Well,
How do I do this? I mean, all the other things have been considered. She's thought about the risk, and she's thought about making, beginning small and how she's going to build up to transition. However, did fear play a part in either of your stories? And Jaclyn, I'm going to come back to you again.
Oh, absolutely. I resonate with this question when I think about my younger self and just, where I have been as well. And I'd say it's okay to be scared, but I think most entrepreneurs do it scared. So I think it's not necessarily about avoiding the feeling of fear. It's about embracing it and having it along the journey with you. And time again, the more we're embracing that muscle of resilience within fear, the easier that muscle gets. And so it's easier to jump into unknown territories and things that I'm doing this year that I couldn't have imagined doing 10 years ago is I feel like a different person. It's almost interesting how I feel like as an entrepreneur, we kind of accidentally push ourselves into this space of personal development because we're forced to kind of explore
Mm.
areas of ourselves that we need to in order to move the business forward. And so they kind of go hand in hand, like personal development, right? Right. And entrepreneurship. And so I think what's pretty exciting about it though is it's an opportunity to discover our true potential and who we are
Mm.
by going through this journey of entrepreneurship. So to this lovely question. I'd say embrace the fear, do it scared, and discover how you're going to evolve along the way. And there's massive support systems out there. Like even this conversation and just sharing. Like I feel very inspired and supported by both of you, fellow business owners. And so just having the ability to talk about it with others is really helpful to kind of take that leap.
Oh my goodness. You need to write down, and we definitely are going to share this as your quote. Do it scared.
Hmm. I need that reminder sometimes too.
No, it just, I mean, y'all, I'm getting chills a lot during our conversation. Now, and the next part about that is looking, you are from when you started, and this young lady and I spoke about this today, exactly that amount of time where she's starting. I said, look, sit outside, someplace beautiful that you love, or inside with a candle, and talk to yourself as your future self. And what decisions would your future self be making? Small steps, but congratulate you who you are now. I love that so much, Jaclyn. I mean, I think it's so important. And to hear someone, you know, we'll say not as mature in years, probably more mature than I will ever be. However, not as mature in years. It's such a beautiful piece of information for for anyone of any age. However, so many younger professionals need to hear that. So thank you. And, you know, Elisa, how about for you? Did fear jump in to your decision? Did fear kind of show up and say, don't do this? Oh, not now. This isn't what you need to be doing.
I would say a little bit. I started a business right before COVID in 2020 to do more beach access. And I not that it failed, it just needed to be done as a nonprofit instead of a for-profit. So I had to kind of face a little bit of fear. Like, what if I start doing my own thing? If I, because no one wants to feel like they failed, right? I mean, it's not a good emotion to feel if something doesn't work. But COVID, I think in general, really changed things up a lot for the world, right? We all kind of had a but the whole thing is what if I don't? I think that's a really powerful question. Like, because adding value, I mean, and helping others and choosing love over fear and doing it anyway, that's where the gold is really.
That's what she said. Embrace the fear and do it anyway.
And do it anyway. So if you've had
That's
past experiences where maybe it wasn't the right timing or something, don't let that stop you. So if you still have your dreams and you still want to, go after them, you got to do it.
you
So
got
regret
to.
not going after your dreams. So for me, I always knew that when I was on my health journey, I was still learning, right? Now I've got a lot more experience, and now everything's aligning in the holistic health field for me. And I'm going to do the other thing as a nonprofit.
Right.
So in the big picture, you're always going to be able to get if you're really passionate about something, it's still going to be a way it's going to work out. So do it anyways.
It's going to, in this competition of fear, do I do it? Do I not? The love and the passion is going to overcome, and you're going to take those steps and you're going to do it anyway. Don't y'all wish we would have done the Nike thing? Just do it. I mean, I'm so jealous of that. I admit it, jealous. So this something huge here, and oh, how I am hoping that we can kind of get y'all back in for another session on this conversation. But what I have just heard from each of you is, without saying it, figure out your why. You know, if you have a passion for something, I feel like you all are saying, okay, why is this important to me? What are the benefits to other people? Because both of you, the service to others runs right along with the passion of what you love. Again, the chills. So you've built this beautiful foundation within your businesses. And another thing you both uh, uh, alluded to, or actually said directly, you know, going into business for yourself, entrepreneurship is just another way of saying personal development. It's like, I've chosen to dive into personal development and I'm going to call it a business because you really, and with that note, I think we all need to remember, and again, I'm speaking to myself and anyone this might resonate with, if we will become accountable to our hopes and dreams in a manner that explains what happens for these people if I offer this service. What is the value that it brings? Oh, yeah, I forgot. They're going to feel so great about themselves, and it's going to affect them in every area of life. So then you take the next scary step. You embrace it and do it anyway. Oh my goodness, I am just so inspired. Okay, you two, I cannot thank you enough. And for the audience, I want you all to know that all the information, how to get in touch with, how to follow, how to join, whether it's a mastermind or a workshop or whatever it is, with these incredible, beautiful professionals, that's all listed for you. It's all posted, easy as a click. I can't encourage you enough. Um, as I host these individual and group recordings at Conversations with Carroll, I remember that's why I do what I do, is so very selfish. I learn so much and am able to introduce and connect others with people like you too. So I cannot thank you all enough. Before we say goodbye, and thank you for the listeners tuning in, and thank you to each of you. Any last tip, trick, any little hack that you might want to share with the audience?
I say for me, start every day with gratitude, right? Gratitude will change your life.
Mm,
Um,
Couldn't
agree.
agree more with that, for sure. Absolutely. I guess I'll do maybe a fun styling tip. I think the question I get asked most is how to instantly elevate your style without taking a lot of time. Like everyone wants to look and feel better, look more polished, but they don't really want to take up a lot of time. So my tip for today that I'll leave you with is just don't sleep on accessories. Jewelry, accessories, they'll transform any look. So if you instantly just want to look a bit more put together, even if you're wearing the most casual outfit, just adding some accessories that make sense for where you're going and the time of day will just help to instantly elevate your look.
Ooh, that's fun. Plus, if you have them, you
great.
can use them, right?
Yeah, if they're there, why not? Why not?
You know, it is the truth. I really and truly Thank you, Father. Thank you, two beautiful ladies, for this. Thank you, audience. I cannot wait till everyone gets to hear this episode of Conversations with Carroll. And send us questions. Let us know, audience, what do you want to hear more from these ladies and others? Because we are here to serve others and to help others. Ultimately, I think that's why we're all so aligned, because I do believe ultimately we all have that same purpose on this planet. It's to help each other. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank
My
you so much. It was
goodness.
wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much for having me.